Good morning. Please be seated. You all probably just needed to stand up and move around and warm up a little bit. Bettina, thank you for the kind introduction. It's good to be back here. I always say in 757, this is where Pam and I raised our family, where I practiced medicine for a little bit over 30 years, and I thought it'd be a warmer homecoming when I came back here, but anyway, as soon as the heat kicks in, I think we'll all be in good shape. I wanted to thank Bettina Ring. We're very proud of our cabinet. After the election in November of 2017, we had only a few weeks to put the cabinet together, and we're so blessed to have such talented individuals that have chosen to serve the Commonwealth. There are a lot of other things that they could be doing, so Bettina is in charge of both agriculture, which, as she reminded you, is the #1 industry in the Commonwealth of Virginia regarding our economy, and the #3 industry, which is forestry. So she wields a lot of power. So Bettina, thank you so much for all that you do for the Commonwealth of Virginia. Barry, it's great to see you again, and I travel around the world, but also around Virginia, promoting businesses, and what a great partner Barry Duvall has been with the Chamber, and you all know the numbers. I mean, he's been at the helm for probably a little bit over 10 years now, and less than 1,000 businesses were in our Chamber. Now we have over 26,000 businesses in the Virginia Chamber. So Barry, thanks so much for all that you do. And it was mentioned that you've probably heard it a couple of times, but Virginia was named as the #1 state in which to do business. That didn't happen in a vacuum, and it's teamwork. It's people like you in this room. It's Barry Duvall with the Chamber. It's Stephen Murray with the VEDP. David with the Port. I mean, we're all in this together. Tourism, as was mentioned. So it's just a good day to be a Virginian, and I think there are a lot of other things that we can do in the future. It's also good to be here for as Bettina said, the 71st Virginia Conference on World Trade. And this is an interesting time. As you all may know, yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of when Amazon chose to make Virginia their second home. And again, there was a lot of effort, a lot of teamwork that went into that. But I will remind you that it was a very innovative and disciplined package that we presented to Amazon. 70% plus of the investment that we're making in Amazon will go right back into our economy in workforce training, i.e. education, in transportation and infrastructure, and affordable housing. Our unemployment rate, you may have already heard this as well, but it's the lowest it's been in the history of Virginia. It's at 2.7%. Brian Ball is not here. I see Kaz Resnick, who is on the team from Commerce. A record setting in the first 2 years of our work, but their work, over $22 billion of capital investment have come into the Commonwealth of Virginia, over 53,000 new jobs, and we've only just started. We have been investing heavily in our people, and we pride ourselves in being the best state for a trained workforce. And this is why companies are looking and growing in Virginia, but also wanting to come to Virginia. Last week, we announced plans for our colleges and universities to generate 31,000 new graduates in computer science. This is part of the Amazon announcement as well. And just to put that in numbers, that's over $1 billion with a B dollars of investment in higher education in Virginia. And I tell people all the time, and I'll be leaving Friday on another trade mission, but we hear from companies and businesses, and they say, Ralph, if you can help us train our workforce for the 21st century, then our businesses will literally thrive in Virginia. So we are really committed to that. Just yesterday, I joined with Maryland Governor Larry Hogan to announce plans to replace the worst traffic choke point in the capital region, the American Legion Bridge, which will connect Fairfax to Montgomery County. 4 new lanes will be built, plus a brand new bridge. That also is over $1 billion investment in transportation and infrastructure. Right here in Hampton Roads, good things are happening with transportation. I think anybody that has driven from Hampton Roads to Richmond hopefully will appreciate the expansion of I-64. We're going to complete that so that there'll be 3 lanes going each way. And then the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel. What a great announcement that was. That's $2.8 billion of investment, long time coming. That's actually the largest, will be the largest transportation project in this country. So good things are happening in that regard. We have invested, David, as you know, over $700 million in the Port of Virginia, which is so key to international trade. We're in the process of dredging our channels to 55 feet and also widening those channels so we'll be able to accommodate the larger ships coming out of the Panama Canal. So these are all important steps, and we will continue these efforts. I also want to make Virginia an even better place for workers. As I said, we're #1 in the country of business, but we also can be #1 for our workers as well, so that all regions of Virginia have the opportunity to share in the economic growth of our Commonwealth. That's why we're investing in broadband. Just to put that in perspective, one of my pet peeves has been, especially from rural Virginia, that in 2019 there is no way that you can start a business or grow a business without access to the internet. It's also important for education, especially educating our children. It's also important for telemedicine. So when we started office 2 years ago, the Commonwealth was investing about $4 million in broadband per year. I proposed $50 million a year for 5 years. One of the things that we learn in Richmond, we don't always get everything that we ask for. So we compromised and came up with $19 million a year. But I think in order to get to that last mile, we're going to need to continue to invest in that. Here in Virginia for more than 30 years, we've had a commitment to increasing our global trade. But the world is chaotic right now, with tariffs and trade policy shifting from one day to the next. And I would just tell you, to summarize, trade wars are not good for any country. So more and more states are taking matters into their own hands, including right here in Virginia. We are prioritizing international trade, and we aim to reach the 95% of the world's consumers who live outside of the United States. That's a lot of potential customers. I would like to highlight a few things that we are doing. First, in a digital age, a personal touch matters. So we are going around the world literally to market Virginia. Just last week, Secretary Ring was in Cuba to promote Virginia as a great place to do business. I am headed to the Middle East on Friday, and we are inviting world leaders into Virginia. Last week, I hosted the Mexican ambassador at our governor's mansion. Last month, we met with the French ambassador, and we hosted the Indonesian ambassador this past spring. I told them that Virginians are ready and willing to buy and sell goods and services around the world. I told them about what a great place Virginia is to do business. We talked about the other companies that have chosen to locate here, and not just Amazon. We have seen some tremendous investments in Virginia from international companies. In June, Volvo Truck North America announced a major expansion in Pulaski County. And Press Glass, the largest independent flat glass processing operation in Europe, is bringing 200 jobs to Henry County. And we cannot and will not stop at that. The Commonwealth ranks only 41st, let me remind you, 41st among the states in exports per capita. We don't do anything in Virginia 41st. We can do better than that. Clearly, we have room to increase our international commerce. We're going to do that by capitalizing on our assets, supporting more trade-intensive businesses, and making sure that every corner of the Commonwealth sees growth. Second, we are announcing today the first ever comprehensive international trade strategic plan for the Commonwealth of Virginia. The plan lays out our ambitious long-term strategy to help Virginia's businesses become more competitive in the global marketplace, resulting in increased exports and new job creation across the Commonwealth. Our goal is aggressive. Over the next 15 years, we'll expand Virginia's international trade output by nearly 50%. That would put us in the top 20 states for exports by 2035. If we can do that, we'll add close to $18 billion in annual exports to our current $36 billion generated. And we will create more than 150,000 well-paid export-driven jobs. This is an ambitious goal, and it won't be easy, but we can absolutely achieve this and make Virginia more competitive internationally. We will work to ensure that our trade development services reach more existing Virginia businesses to help our trade-intensive businesses grow. And we'll attract new export-intensive companies to the Commonwealth. We'll also make sure our investments in infrastructure and tourism align with these goals. Through these efforts, we could double the number of internationally trading firms in our Commonwealth. This work also has the potential to boost the economy in our rural areas. Rural Virginia typically has more export-based industries than other parts of Virginia. So this strategic plan should have an outsized impact on our rural areas, helping them grow and become more resilient. I want to thank all of the people who are working toward this goal. There are many partners, from my administration to business leaders to our state agencies, who are working to make sure Virginia is the best position in this competitive global economy. The third thing that we are doing to promote international trade is recognizing success. And there's been a lot of success in Virginia. It is now my honor to present the 2019 Governor's Award for Excellence in International Trade to a rural Virginia company. The Terman Group has become synonymous in Southwest Virginia and throughout the world for their high-quality forestry products. The Terman Group's companies employ more than 500 people throughout Virginia. Terman graduated from the Valet program in January 2010. Since then, they have participated in VEDP's trade show program and regional export program to diversify their international customer base and increase their export sales. The company now has annual sales of $120 million and is active in more than 30 countries globally. And they are leading their industry. Last year, the Terman Group led its log exporter colleagues in the formation of the U.S. Forest Products Trade Coalition to help the industry come together to address issues related to log exports to China. Please join me in congratulating the Terman Group on their selection as one of Virginia's leading exporters. I would now like to invite Ryan Terman, Vice President of Business Development, and Will Brush, Director of Export Sales, to the podium for this award.